Thank you, Madam President. Members and Senator Michelle, I appreciate your bringing to the floor this amendment. I did want to make a brief comment, members. I am in receipt of the copy of the letter that Senator Bach had distributed from Governor Dayton. He makes a comment that he believes that the purpose of the letter was to call attention. He said the legislative majority may try to play political games by forcing a vote on what they claim is my tax proposal. That's the quote from the letter. And the question I would have then for the members of the minority is whether or not what we're voting on are the governor's tax proposals. I think they are. He's saying that we're claiming they're his tax proposals. It leads me to think that perhaps there's some uncertainty. Maybe these aren't his tax proposals, and I would be interested to hear from members of the other side if this is the case, that these are not the governor's tax proposals. I understand that they are. He's encouraging us to get down to work and not play political games, and he talks about encouraging the members of the DFL caucus to refuse to participate in the juvenile political theater, etc. I hope that doesn't mean he's encouraging you to leave the state as other minorities have in other states. I hope not. But this is not a game. This is not theater. We are working on our budget. And where I come from, when you do a budget, the first thing you do is you talk about how much money do we have. And what the majority has said throughout the campaign and throughout the time we've been here is that we are focused on a budget that will live within our means, that we are going to live within the means that we have available to us just as ordinary people do and ordinary businesses do. The other side, the minority, has said, well, no, we have to have a balanced approach, meaning we have to have more revenue. And the governor has introduced a proposal that he calls a balanced approach. That's how it was presented to us in the Finance Committee. The governor's proposal was headlined a balanced approach, the balanced approach. It was primarily driven by increases in taxes. Those taxes are in the amendment that Senator Michelle has brought forward. Unless they aren't, I guess I'd like to have some clarification of what we're claiming to be the tax proposals really are the tax proposals. Maybe someone would dispute that. I think they are. And so, members, this is serious because before we start on the budget process, we need to agree what kind of money are we going to use. Are we going to use the money that we have available to us, or are we going to seek more revenue, as the governor has proposed? And so those of you who believe that what the governor has offered is a balanced approach and that this is revenue that we need to have to fund the level of spending that we need to have, then you ought to vote for this. You ought to vote for the Michelle amendment. I'm not, because we have decided that we need to live within the means that we have within the revenues we have. So, members, I'm a little confused by the governor's letter. This is not theater. It's not a game. It's a serious attempt to get people to think about how much revenue are we going to say is the amount that we will work with as we prepare our budget. Is it going to be the amount that we have got projected in the forecast for revenue, or is it going to be some additional? And are we going to take the governor's proposals to raise that additional revenue? And this is a straightforward vote, a straightforward question. Do you want more revenue? Do you want the governor's revenue? Then vote yes for the amendment. But as I said, I am not. Thank you.
Further discussion, Senator Tomassoni.
Thank you, Madam President. Senator Hann, this is a game. It's very interesting that Senator Michelle says he hasn't seen the language from the governor, but we have language in front of us that he claims to be the governor's. And Senator Hann, you're claiming that if it's wrong language, then we should fix it, but you've purposely amended an amendment to an amendment, and so it would be impossible for us to fix it even if it is wrong, because we can't add any more amendments on this bill. So it's obviously a game, and it's just meant to be a charade.
Further discussion, Senator Hann.
Madam President, I just wanted to take a moment to respond to my friend Senator Tomassoni. All I was asking for were people to tell us, are these the governor's tax proposals? That's all. I'm not asking for any amendments or any additional things added to the thing before us, but what the governor is suggesting that these aren't his tax proposals. And all I'm saying is I understand that Senator Michelle and the Tax Committee have put together an amendment based on the governor's tax proposals. The governor's letter seems to suggest they're not. And all I'm asking for is somebody to say, well, they are. You may not like the structure they're in, or you may not think it's, as Senator Marty pointed out, it's not the complete spending package. I understand that. But the question is, are these the governor's tax proposals? We believe they are. If you like the governor's tax proposals, you ought to like the amendment. That's all we're asking for.